Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Now, gifts for the gardener are always hard to get because they're very personalized. So let's start off with the one that people usually give the gardener, and that is a gift certificate. You know where they shop, find out where they shop, and get a gift certificate. Yeah, they know how much it is, but hey, they're usually worth it. Because you usually benefit from them. If they're growing something, you're going to get some plants back. You're going to get maybe tomatoes or some fruit or whatever from their garden. And so it's probably well worth your while. Now, what you want to do is pick out some tools that you might think that they would want as well. You know their gardens. And what I do is I pick out a couple, and I let people know what I like, what I use. Now, the Fiskars have got a composite trowel, and the reason I like the composite trowel is the handle's not too fat. It's extremely strong. It's very, very lightweight, and because it's pointed, it really goes into the soil quite easily, and I find that this one works well for me when I'm doing a lot of digging, particularly as, you know, I've been doing a lot, so therefore I'm a little tired or my wrists are a little sore, and I don't really want something heavy to work with, particularly if I'm only planting small transplants. So the fiber composite trowel is probably the best for people in those conditions. And it's from Fiskars, so take a look at that one. If you want a really good trowel, and this comes in a series as well, and the series has a benefit. And the benefit is that the handles, again, are not too fat. They resist slipping. They have a spot for your thumb if you're going to use them as a regular trowel or transplanter, etc. But at the back side, they also have a hook where if you slide or slip, it'll stop you from going any further. Cast aluminum, very strong, very, very well made, marked, at least the transplanter is, in depth as well. And because they're long, thin, and narrow, they go in easily. Another good thing to look for in a trowel. And the reason that I like this one also is that if you've ever watched a professional planter who doesn't use a measuring board, but can either do it by eye or with the space of his other hand, her other hand, then they use the trowel backwards. And this hook allows you to do that and never slip. So you're actually going in and using the trowel backwards to make the hole and dropping in your transplanter and patting it down, and that's it. So it makes it probably another lightweight, well-gripped trowel for work. With pruners, you always want something that you're going to put in your hand and enjoy. And you can do this. I have two that I really like. The Fiskars have a composite handle, stainless steel, with a counter blade, or the blade I should say, that is coated, so it slides through. The sap doesn't stick as much, holds its sharpness well, locks easily, and also so that you can use them one-handed, you can lock and unlock with one hand. That is a good thing. And when they're unlocked, they don't go and lock on you in the middle of a job. The handle rolls. Now, the Power Gear 2 ones are just really, really good. They also can be adjusted to the amount of opening for the size of your hand. Very often people want the biggest one to do this, and that's wrong. Because you should never use a pruner that's going to make you work harder and put a strain on your wrist. That's how gardeners get carpal tunnel. The other one that I really love is the Baco pruners. Now, the Baco pruners are totally ergonomic. They are steel. They can rust. You'll need 2 hands to unlock and lock this one. They really hold their sharpness well. They come in different sizes. You can build them with a different size head, a different strength spring, and a different handle. Roll, fixed, and also for size to actually fit the size of your hand. Now, a lot of people will say, okay, what size is normal? Number 2 sized head is the normal size head. You can get one bigger and you can get one smaller. So if you're working against carpal tunnel and you still want to prune or can prune, you want to go down to a number 1. If you are normal and you're just going along, you get a number 2. For those of you who are crazy enough to get a number 3, you'll be working a little harder, you need the strength, and it's okay. You should actually, at this point, pull out either a little handsaw or possibly even a lopper. Saws, there's 3 saws that I pick. The one that I like the best is the Corona. Now, the Corona is a non-folding saw. It's got a very good red and black slip handle. It's got a big hole in there so you can hang it on a peg so you know where it is. Holds its sharpness. It's got offset teeth. It cuts on both the push and the pull, and that makes it less work. All of the silky saws, which are made in Japan, no matter what size, are excellent. And I like the little pocket ones because they slip into a pocket. I don't have to go looking for them. And if I run across a branch that's a little big for the pruners, I can pull that out. Fiskars also has a saw. And if you know what target pruning is, you always go and you want to make sure you undercut so that when the branch comes down, it doesn't rip the bark. This blade actually bends backwards so that it's at a 45-degree angle, and you can cut underneath and then straighten it up to be like a regular saw and cut the rest. And then you've got a nice little stub that you can clean up as well. So that's why it's so important. With loppers, a Baco lopper which slides through, do not get long loppers, because long loppers, people have a tendency to twist the heads, and once the head is warped and you cannot tighten it and not see light between the counterblade and the blade, either get a new head for it or get rid of them. They're garbage. You've destroyed them. So, use that. But the Fiskars Power Gear 2 is one of the best ones that you will ever get. Lightweight, not too long, and it'll take out good hard wood like apple wood, etc., and do a really good job. So, if you're into tight crotches, use the Baco. If you're into more open wood or tough wood, use the Fiskars. Now, if you're looking for a book on roses, there is a book called Roses Without Chemicals. Since we're in an area where you can't really get a lot of the chemicals that you need to control the diseases on roses, it's so important that you realize that you got to pick the right rose. This book has 150 different disease-free varieties. This will change the way you grow your roses. It's by Peter E. Kulitsky, and even Martha Stewart recommends this one, but I do too. And it's distributed in Canada by Thomas Allen. It is a really good book. The colors in it are accurate. The roses are given the size, description, resistance, fragrance, flowering, repeat flowering, quality of the flowers, number of petals, all of this that will allow you to pick and choose the rows that you really want and do a really good job of picking out the ones that, because let's be honest, smaller yards and less space. So pick the right ones. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.